What is up, you guys? The Fallout What If here, and today I'm doing a what if Deku was the Drunken Master. Well, what if Deku was the Drunken Master in the High School DxD universe, part 2. Now, this is I'm going to upload this, and also upload one called What If Deku Had Hockey. I had a video right there that I never actually got to upload. I didn't think it'll be like good, but I might as well try it, and hopefully you guys like it. And not only that, I'm going to do the older what ifs that I was supposed to do, such as what if Deku, well, there's a lot of what if Dekus. I really need to do do a playlist, but one of them is going to be what if Deku was a Revenant, and what if Deku was, well, I still gotta do some videos either way. Now, where we last left off, Deku is back in the real world, and now he's kind of lost. After all this time, he had to learn so much, and now that he's back, he really needs to get a new change of clothes, because this world's fashion sense is not the same as the one that he's been living in. It's not the same as the world that he's been living with. Now, Deku has to go back to school and do all of his work, which over time he kind of does, and they said that, oh, Deku's like a child that's supposed to be in the program, but never actually got to be there. And there was a lot of people that were looking at how awesome Deku looked. I mean, he was ripped. At this moment, Deku's body looked more prestiged. Like, Deku has been hitting the gym tenfold. And not only that, with the scent of alcohol that he's made over the 4 years, he's also learned how to make drinks using different kinds of herbs and medicines. So he's made one where his aroma is more lovable, making him far less likely to get attacked and far more likely to get liked. So it's kind of like a love potion drink. Oh, sorry about that. That's I was gonna watch a manga. Middle school becoming a demon lord, but I don't think I'm gonna do a what if on that. Now, Deku gets all dressed up and such until he bumps into a couple of people, and one of them says, "Ow, his arm is hurt. He needs to go to the hospital." Clearly a scumbag kind of guy. And Deku says, "Oh, sorry about that. Hopefully you get that fixed." And the guy says, Whoa, wait a minute here. You caused the injury to my arm. You gotta pay for that." Deku's saying, "Sorry, I don't have any money." And the moment the guy touches him, he faints. He was trying to get, him to do something, but Deku just didn't even bother. And the man just fell down to the ground. So his buddies had to pick him up and actually just take him somewhere, or take him back to their place. And Deku did talk to a couple of people who he would work for a couple of days, and after that, eventually get some money to actually get to look much more nicer than he already did. Now, after all the dressing up that he had to do, he found a pair that he liked, some long pants and a t-shirt. It was average, but Deku was looking for more of a modest kind of thing. Besides that, he does have that hat, and he usually wears it on him. Now, the thing about that is, this hat is like around 50 to 80 pounds. and Deku keeps that on his head for a long time. So the fact that he could fight with the weights off, he kind of does something like Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z, where he just uses weights for training. Now, after all that is over with, Deku goes and lives under the bridge for a while until he gets to middle school. Now, middle school, no, not middle school, in high school. Oh, sheesh. Technically, Deku's older now, so he has to start his first day. Not his first day, but his first day in high school, because he's kind of like 2 months late to the whole party. And now that he has to get ready and he does go to school, Deku can't take his drink with him, so he has to send this into his pocket. And that would be kind of weird, right? Well, the thing is, Deku just keeps that inside of a bag of holding, which conveniently the master gave him, so that way he can hold his stuff in there, like his armor or weapons and not, somewhat. Now, when Deku gets to school, everybody looks at him, and Deku's face just looks, well, very pretty to the women. I mean, it's not gorgeous level where he's like a girl, but to a point where girls just look at him and be like, this guy, this guy is very handsome, like. So all the girls just look at him, while the boys just want to fight him. And this is when we get to meet current Issei. Sheesh. Okay, so I seriously messed up here again. Issei is actually going to be, this is actually the second year of high school. So Deku technically missed another year, so that would mean Deku is 15 to 16. Now, Deku's even more nervous to actually be there for his first day. So everybody looking at him goes to see what he looks like, but Deku just looks, like I said, like a pretty boy. Now, with that being said, Deku gets into class, and the teacher says, "Oh, all right, we have a new student here. His name is Izuku Hashira." Now, why would I say Hashira? Is because the Shang is also his last name is Hashira, and that's just a name that I decided to give him. He's technically part Chinese and part Japanese, so at least you guys will understand why his name is Shang Hashira. It's kind of a tongue twister. Now, Deku sees everybody around, but then he looks at, Issei, which Issei looks at him, and he says, "Hello, can I help you?" And this is when, basically, he says, "Hello, my name is Izuku Hashira." And Issei looks at him and says, "Why does he look so familiar?" And this is when Drake says, "I don't know, but if he knows who you are, then that means either A, he's an old friend from your past, B, he's working with the angels, or C, he's working with the fallen angels. And most likely there's the letter D. He might actually work for an organization we don't know about. Keep an eye on him." Issei says okay, and after this, Deku just starts walking. After school, Deku gets into this tussle with a couple of fallen angels that look at him. And this is like right after Issei becomes a devil. Like, he gets his heart stomped by, Rainier. And yeah, Issei is strong. Don't get me wrong. He's gotten stronger over the years. Due to the fact that his dragon form actually released itself. And I don't know when I said that, but I do know that over the time that Deku was gone, his emotions welled up and he became so angry with himself, wishing he could help him out. And that's when this, Issei's training as a dragon goes into play. And not only that, Moruhama and Matsura are not Issei's friends, because Issei is kind of like, he's still a pervert. It's just that he's not like them. Like, he's less perverted. Still a pervert, but less of it. So Deku sees a fallen angel known as Domasi. And this is when he says, "Hello. Now, what are you?" Well, he basically says, "Hi, my name is Domasi, and I'm what you call a fallen angel. I've recently sensed your presence around here, and I realize that you're neither angel nor one of us, but you're not even a devil. And since you're not a filthy devil, I have a proposal for you. Join me, and we can, and together we can conquer this world. Seeing as you're very strong, I could use someone like you, and Lady Rainier may spare you and also give you a reign as a fallen angel. Heck, if you listen to us, I'll let you become my subordinate." Deku looks at him with tilting his head, and in those classic anime moments, just tilts his head with his eyes not being seen at all, and just says, "Like I'm going to work with someone like you." In pure anime fashion, Domasi gets upset and just looks at him and says, "My, I see you're someone you're hard to bargain with. I'll give you a choice. You either join us or you die. We are not allowed. I'm not going to let someone who has the potential to hurt us leave. So the choice is yours, my friend. What will you choose?" "Honestly, I choose to get out of here." And the man says, You're actually kidding, right? You're not pulling my leg on here, right?" And this is when Deku just says, "No, I'm not playing around. I'm not going to join you or whatever kind of bird flock you guys go into. I want to just be left alone. There's no need to, put myself in the ranks like you." Domasi gets upset, but this is when he has an idea, saying, "All right, I'll let you leave." And with that, Deku just starts walking in the opposite direction, saying, "Well, you take care." Domasi just gets happy and just throws a freaking light spear at him. And Deku actually just looks at it, grabs it, and just starts, he gets pushed back a little bit while catching it, saying, "What is this? It's made out of light, but it has a hint of evilness in it." Domasi says, "Well, I'm actually kind of shocked. Look at this. A human, or whatever you are, just held one of my freaking light spears. Not only that, you're holding it like it's nothing." And Deku says, "Yeah, I get that, but what is this?" And this is when he says, "That is a light spear." But, and when he says, after he's done talking, he actually uses he actually makes the arrow, not the arrow, the spear explode, And Deku actually just jumping out of the way and saying, I can't let my clothes be torn. Otherwise, then I'm gonna have to pay for that at school. And trying to live a normal life, seeing as that I can't do that right now, I'm gonna have to kill you. This is when, basically, he grabs his bag of holding, and he starts taking off all of his clothes at a very fast rate, puts on his other clothes, and starts to get ready. Grabbing his favorite mug, starts drinking out of it, saying that I really needed this. Starts breathing in and out very fast, and starts looking at him with a malice intent to kill. And this is when the Donosik looks at this and says, are you drinking? Are you even taking this seriously? Deku says, hold on here, still need to get drunk. And Donosik is like, well, okay. And while Deku's done drinking, he says, this hits the spot. Now, where were we? Donosik says, wait, I just listened to him? How dare you make a mockery of me? You'll pay with your life. And Deku just actually just lies down, and Donosik tries to stab at him, and this is when he says, alright, fine. And he tries to stab at him while he's on the ground, but Deku just gets back up. Donosik just says, are you toying with me? And this is when he starts trying to stab at him, but Deku is just moving his head side to side, just saying, this is so fun. And Deku just goes to sleep again, and starts to get groggy-eyed. And Donosik says, I don't care, I'll just blast you away. And Deku's about to let out a burp. With this, Donosik shoots out he just shoots out energy blast. And Deku just looks at this and freaking shoots out a hell of a lot of electricity at the blast, causing it to explode upon impact. Donosik looking at this, and Deku just running towards him, just starting to slam at his face. Actually, he just starts punching him around his body, and after that, grabbing the barrel and just slamming him off of the ground, up in the air. After that, Deku just lets him fall. And Deku says, win style. And starts spinning around. Spiraling kick. And he says tornado style. Well, tornado version of it. And basically, Izuku starts to spin at very fast rate, and just letting his foot go loose on top of Donosik's neck actually cuts it off. And Donosik's face, or his head, just is chopped off. Deku looking at this saying, I knew that he wasn't as strong as I thought, but for him to get his head flying all the way there, he needs to work on his neck muscles. Otherwise, he could have probably survived. And Deku says, now I don't feel any drunk. Now, the reason why Deku drinks and after that has a lot of fighting styles is because, one, his drinking allows his body to somehow start creating energy or chi. It somewhat does that, and Deku uses that to his full advantage. While getting drunk, it's easier for him to do it. But without drinking, well, he's not as strong, but he's much more tactful. And not only that, he could still use a sword that he made out of bloodlust and his imagination. Throughout the series, I'll tell you guys a little bit more lore about Deku's abilities. But for now, it's going to be it's gonna be just this. Deku has a special kind of element to him called creation. Now, it's called conjuring, but at the same time, it is a form of creation. You see, Deku has fire, the fire element within him, earth element, water element, wind element, and I said earth, water, wind, fire, and I guess lightning. The 5 basic nature elements. But Deku also has a sixth one, which is known as creation. Technically, he can make stuff out of nothing or using the elements at his disposal. Now, give me a second here, people. Now, what was I saying? Oh, alright. Oh, jeez. Damn it, dude. Oh, gosh. Now, Deku will be going around and just finding out who is this at first, because the old man didn't tell him anything about there being like angels, demons, and all that stuff. He just thought to himself that there was just like the energy around, like, that is around the world, the energy that's natural and all that stuff. He wasn't thinking about, people could just summon spears made out of light and just shoot it at people and make them explode. Deku was kind of like, alright, well, this world's gonna get me. But he did realize something. If he takes one of these feathers, and if he takes the feathers that he gotten from Donaseek, he could probably use it, shit, I'm sorry, you guys. He's gonna take the feathers and see what he could do with them. See if he could test them out. Probably use it for his advantage. Now, the thing about him is that he is sort of an alchemist. He is a person who loves drinking, so he has to make his own liquor. But now that he has to learn how to create energy by making food pills, because he doesn't eat a lot, so he has to make something to eat. He could see whether something gives him energy, abilities, or even grants him a power for a short amount of time. So Deku just takes that and uses that for supplies. Now, after a while, Deku just goes back to his hideout, which is just under the bridge. And we cut to the whole church. Milty and I forgot the other one, the one who usually wears the hooker dress. And right now, they all talk about why Donaseek isn't here, but they felt that his energy is long gone, so it must be either a devil or that new devil who has that red gauntlet. And Rainier says, what new guy with the red gauntlet? Deku did die, but now that he's back alive, she doesn't know that yet. They said that this kid has brown hair and all that stuff. It kind of, he has all that stuff, and he looks like the boy that Rainier went out with. After finding out it is him, she wonders how did he live. Finding out that he now possesses angel-like devil-like abilities, she realizes that he's been reincarnated. Or resurrected. Now, we get to the whole point of school where Deku is actually looking around, and Deku, he's back to his school attire and all. And Kiba actually starts taking him to over there. Taking him to the occult research club. At first, Deku said no, he doesn't want to come. He actually just likes being alone. He thinks it's calming, and he made a promise, so he has to do his best to not, get in trouble. Otherwise, he won't be able to see his friends. Now, Deku just looks to Kiba, and Kiba does say it's urgent. Deku says, fair enough. And there is gonna be a ship, so don't you worry your pretty little heads about this. Deku goes and sees that Ria's Grimory is right there, and he looks at her and he thinks that she is really beautiful. He sees the red hair that's flowing down her back, the blue eyes that kind of, how do I say it, kind of reminds him of an ocean when there's a lot of light on it. Sees that he could probably be sucked into whatever world her eyes are in. He sees that, well, he hears that her voice, he hears her voice while, she's introducing herself, seeing that it's lovely and it's sweet, kind of like his liquor. But he also hears that it's also calm and straightforward. Now, Deku sees that there's other people, including Issei, but he's wondering to himself who that person is. Deku does have this, he does have the knowledge knowing that has to be Issei, but Issei would have probably recognized him by now, but he's not. So he has a suspicion that he probably messed up. But this is when he says, "Oh, Mr. Hashira, why don't you sit down and have some tea?" And Deku says, "No need, I have my liquor." And this is when she says, "You know that you're not allowed to have that, right?" And Deku says, "Yeah." So wouldn't putting that up be better than just keeping it out in the open where you can get in trouble? He says, "Well, I have a motto. If somebody can actually stop me from my drinking, or at least take it away from me, then I'll fight them. And if they beat me up, and they win, then I don't have any reason to complain. Besides all that, drinking actually helps me out a lot. It gets the voices in my head to stop talking." And she says, "Voices?" And Deku says, "Yes, voices." Now, over the years, Deku's whole life, he's been seeing his mother's death, and he remembered his father's lack of happiness towards him, spiraling down, and he kind of has to hear that in his head at times, what he used to be called, and sometimes he envisioned what they're saying to him, kind of like how Rainier talked to Issei. And if you guys don't understand what I'm trying to say, think about when a ghoul from Tokyo Ghoul gets killed and becomes a Kagane, or a weapon. They kind of attach to the host and start speaking to their head. And if you guys don't even understand that, just think of Momoshiki and Boruto. There you go. Don't worry, people. I got more. But I decided to stop. So, Deku says, "A long time ago, my parents died. One committed suicide, and the other went to jail for beating the crap out of me. So, drinking became something that is natural." And she says, "Natural," and she realizes that Deku's gone through a lot. And she says, "I'm sorry, but rules are rules. So please, could you at least not drink in the classroom, in the research club, for now at least?" And Deku just takes his last drink and he says, "Fine. Right now I do feel kind of preppy. So, is there something you need?" And she says, "Oh, well, For starters, your application says your name is Izuku Hashira, but there's no traces of your last name being Hashira. Not only that, you were in the foster care system, and looking through your old photos, your name used to be Izuku so-and-so. I forgot the last name, but it wasn't... I should have kept it as Midoriya. I'm an idiot. But Deku says, that's no longer my last name. And this is when Issei says, wait a minute, Izuku? You're actually here? And he says, Izuku? You're talking to... Oh gosh, you really are him. And this is when these two actually start to get up and actually hug each other. And basically, Ria says, Issei, do you know this? Do you know him? And this is when Issei says, yeah, I know him. He was one of the first real friends I had. So much so that when we left, when I left, we all made a promise to see each other in this school. Or at least see each other in a high school. We didn't know it was gonna be this one, but this is the top of the top school in Japan right now, so yeah. Now, Deku says, you gotten taller than me. And he says, yeah, by like, what, 5 inches or so? And this is when Issei says, I didn't think I would be the short one. Well, I guess I kind of stunted my growth just a tad bit due to the drinking. Mind you, Deku is 5'7". Issei is 6'2". Or yeah, he's 6 feet even. And this is when Ria says, oh, okay, so that makes things easier. Izuku, I want to ask you, where are you a fallen angel? And Deku says, no, why? And this is when Issei said, fallen angel? President, what are you talking about? And Ria says, I don't know why, but I could sense energy from, well, traces of fallen angel energy coming towards Izuku. Not only that, I talked to Konoko today, and she said she smelt that kind of scent on you. And Izuku says, oh, yeah, I don't know how to explain this, but there was a man with wings, and I had to cut him off. And this is when they all look at him and says, wait, you killed him? And Deku says, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know at the time, but he was saying if either I was a devil or an angel, and he saw that I had a lot of energy within me. My chi was getting so out of whack that I forgot to hold it in and, lower my presence, but I kind of just gave myself away. And this is when Ria says, so that's why we felt distortion in time. Deku says, what are you talking about? Well, 4 to 5 years ago, we felt an energy, a shockwave throughout the timeline, causing everybody to hear stop for at least a couple of seconds. It was so minuscule that nobody understood it, and nobody actually cared about it at the time, except for devils and angels, including the falling angels, I'm guessing. So, how long were you gone? And Deku says, well, describe gone, because during the time you were talking about, I was sent into another world after I was about to get hit by a car. And she says, oh, well, that explains a lot. Now, a quick question. Where did you manage to get this kind of power? And Deku looks at her and she says, nope, not a lot of people will just have this kind of energy signature out of you. Especially ones that have the ability to just kill a fallen angel just with human abilities. And Deku says, I didn't use human abilities. I used my power. And she says, what's that? Well, one, I used the power of chi, which enhances my body with elemental abilities and the affinities I had. And she says, oh, okay. I see that you're a chi user. Are you telling me that you mastered it? And Deku says, yeah, I mastered the physical part of it. I'm not truly there with the essential part of it. I still need to understand the knowledge of it before I can even, if I can strengthen myself beyond my limits again. Now, Deku looks up in the air, and he thinks to himself, how do I explain it? And he says, mind if I show you a power? It can probably get you guys to understand it. And she says, alright, knock yourself out. And Deku says, alright. He starts breathing in and just says, fire style. And starts breathing for a couple of more seconds and just starts spitting out a tiny bit of fire. Kind of like if it's moving like a snake. And this is when he just says, fire spit. And it's just little tiny fire strings just coming out of his mouth, just wiggling and moving around. And this is when she says, oh, okay. I thought it would be more powerful, but to each their own. And Deku says, I'm just showing you a little bit of my power. I don't want to actually overdo it and burn up this place. And she says, I like how confident you are. But anyway, we have to talk to you. We want you to be a part of the we want you to be a member of my I want you to be a member of my peerage. I want you to be my rook. Seeing as you're a fighter, looking at how you train your body, and not only that, Konako here was about to attack you, but you kind of sensed it right away. And Deku says, yes, I did. I could sense where her hand was gonna hit, and that would have actually hurt the back of my head. Now, I want you to understand that I don't want to join the peerage. In reality, I don't know where I belong. I actually think that I'll just stick the way I am, for now at least. I don't want you guys to be afraid of me. I don't want to be afraid of you guys. So I'll let you know, alright? But with Issei around, I guess I'll join him sooner or later. This is when Deku just says, this is when Issei just says, alright, that'll be actually cool. And to tell you the truth, I got some abilities that you may actually want to check out. And this is when Ria says, hold it. And the Deku just stops and says, oh, Yes. And she says, I actually want to ask you something. Deku says, alright, shoot. What kind of, do you have something called a sacred gear? And Deku says, no, what is that? And this is when, Rhea says, oh, well, sacred gears are gears given by God to humans to fight against either for the three major factions, devils, angels, and fallen angels, or two, to help us in our crusade. Well, not crusade, against a war for later in life. And Deku says, I don't know what I have. I just know that I'm well, me. And this is when Deku says why. She says, Rias explains that she senses it off of him. Senses technically two sacred gears that are not the same, but are not opposite either. And this is when Deku says, what are you talking about? She says, for one, I sense it right there on your chest. And Deku says, what? And he says, yes, your chest. And actually, there's something about it. It seems that your power, whatever is giving you a lot of strength or abilities, is coming through your chest. And I chose this picture for a specific reason. Is because there's two sacred gears that I actually wanted to try out. Oh shit, sorry. Two sacred gears that I wanted to try out. One, that being on his chest, and one being on his eyes. The only thing I wanted to do on this one was actually have, technically the whole thing was Shang is gonna give him two sacred gears. They were technically known as treasures, but nobody knew what sacred gears were. So Deku has one on his chest and one in on his eyes. Now, Deku just says, my master, the one who taught me all about my abilities, he says that he implanted some special treasures onto me to make sure that in the end he knows that I'll be okay in life. And she says, I see. He might have transferred his sacred gear to you. Although that would be impossible. If anybody was stripped of their gears, they would die in a matter of days. It could be a couple of weeks or days and all. And Deku realizes that the old man wasn't looking at him at the time. He never actually opened his eyes because Shang was that kind of he was Asian, so you know. I don't want to sound fucked up, but you know, he couldn't see his eyes. So anyway, yeah, he gave him his Shang gave him his sacred gears. That of a phoenix, and his eyes are something else. No, I'm not giving him Sharingan or the Renegon or the Byakugan. I'm giving him something, but not that. Now, Deku just says, well, I'll see what I can do about this, seeing if I can take it out of me or something. Now, Deku just says, alright, well, it's time for me to go. Issei and him actually just walk, and Deku just says, so, where do you live? And he says, oh, I live close by. And Deku just says, "Do you want to race?" And he says, "Yeah, I don't know. Are you actually able to keep up? I mean, you carry that huge barrel on your back. I don't understand how you do it." And Deku says, it's huh. It's a training weight. It actually holds up all my liquor." And Issei says, "Why did you start to drink?" And Deku just says that, "Well, my father started to drink a lot, so I guess I just did it because I wanted to feel closer to him. I don't like him at all. In fact, I hate him for what he's done. But at the same time, he's my father. It's kind of hard for me just to let it go. Besides, I guess it's easier for me to just forget the pain." So Issei says, "Oh, sorry I had to bring it up." You're fine." But, with that being said, he grabs his barrel and just puts it inside his bag of holding and says, "Whoa, what did you do?" And he says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is my bag of holding. My master wasn't good at names, or he could have called it dimension bag or something, but he says bag of holding, so I just called it that." And he says, "Well, with this, I can store a lot of things, and basically, well, take it out or put more in there. And with that being said, it can actually hold in the weight of it. So it's in its own little world right now, unless I need it." So he starts to crunch his back and starts to move around and says, "I'm way faster than you think." And he says, "Well, I'm going to be using my flight. I'm going to use my wings." And he says, "Do you think you can actually beat me?" And he says, "Yeah, I think I have the power. Now, where are we racing to?" And he says, "We're going to my house. I want you to stay over for the night." And Deku says, "Oh, okay." And Issei says, "Where do you live?" And Deku actually says that he's homeless. And he says, "Well, not anymore, you're not. You're gonna be my roommate." And Deku says, "I don't think I can do that. After all this time." And Issei just says, "Nah, I'm perfectly fine with it. As long as I have my friend with me, I won't have any problems." He looks at him and says, "Oh, well, alright." And these two, Deku gets a penny, and he throws it up in the air, and he says, "Whenever this lands, we can, go." And this is when Deku just starts getting ready, and the penny drops. And these two one starts running, and one starts flying. Now, knowing this, the person who has the flying advantage can actually go through obstacles easier, especially when the air is the only obstacle. But Deku's no slouch either, so he just keeps running street after street. And this is when Deku just has to go through a lot of obstacles, somewhat being trees and all that stuff. And this is when his stomach is hurting. It says, "Oh man, I shouldn't be running after I'm done with drinking. I didn't actually get to fight, so most of the drink itself is in my stomach. Oh, I'm gonna have a major stomach ache." Oh, he has a restroom. Hope he forgives me for what it's gonna conspire. And these two actually made it, with Issei being there 3 seconds earlier. And Deku just saying, "Well, it's time to go in." And I'm gonna leave it off there. deciding to just wait until we get to the whole, the next episode is going to be easier to explain. And it's technically going to take up a season, I guess. Well, with that being said, hope you all like it. Like, comment, do subscribe to the channel here, people. This has been the Fallout. What if you're here? Bye.